Russian leader Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping are showing off their tight friendship in the Kremlin, just days after an international court issues an arrest warrant for Putin. Beijing seeks to be a peacemaker in Ukraine, which Washington calls a diplomatic cover for Putin's war crimes. Our Seung-jae has more.
President Xi Jinping is currently on a three-day visit to Russia. There, the Chinese leader met with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday for what Beijing has billed as peace talks as part of Xi's vision to mediate a deal to end the conflict in Ukraine. During the talks, the two leaders touted their close ties amid geopolitical tensions and their shared strategic vision. Calling him a dear friend, Xi showed continued support for Putin amid international condemnation of the ongoing war in Ukraine and the recent issuing of an arrest warrant for the Russian leader by the International Criminal Court. Washington, however, remains skeptical over what they believe to be China's real intentions. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken went as far as to slam Beijing for siding with Moscow, despite the ICC arrest warrant for Putin for alleged war crimes.
That President Xi is traveling to Russia days after the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for President Putin suggests that China feels no responsibility to hold the Kremlin accountable for the atrocities committed in Ukraine, and instead of even condemning them, it would rather provide diplomatic cover for Russia to continue to commit those very crimes.
Both U.S. and European officials are also concerned that China may even add fuel to the war in Ukraine, with Washington still believing that Beijing is open to supplying Russia with artillery shells. Not to mention, Washington also believes that any ceasefire deal brokered by China may be more beneficial to Russia.
But we are concerned that, instead, China will reiterate calls for a ceasefire that leaves Russian forces inside Ukraine's sovereign territory. Now, any ceasefire that does not address the removal of Russian forces from Ukraine would effectively ratify Russia's illegal conquests.
U.S. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby says Xi should also consider Ukraine, with the Chinese leader expected to hold phone talks with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky after his visit to Russia. Seung-jae, Arirang News.